All right, guys, I hope everybody's ready for Meal Prep Monday. Here we go. So we are starting out with the baked oatmeal cups 4 ways. So there are 4 different options. I'm using that Skinny Taste Meal Prep book per usual. I absolutely love it. The mix-in option I'm using this time is apple cinnamon. And this is a super easy thing to do. You basically use 2.5 cups of old-fashioned quick cooking oats. I went ahead and blended mine up so it wouldn't be I just didn't like the idea of it being such a thick cut. And then 1.5 cups of unsweetened vanilla almond milk and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You're going to put that in a bowl and you're going to set it aside for about 5 minutes to let those oats soak up that milk. While this is going, you're going to start on that mix-in. And so it's super easy. It was a tablespoon of unsalted butter, 2 large apples peeled and diced into 1/2-inch pieces, 1 teaspoon of light brown sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. You mix in your spices and butter first, and then you add in those apples. And I cooked mine for about 3 minutes, and it turned out perfect. Once you get the mix-in all finished up and going, you are going to finish your oats that you started. And to those oats, you are going to add a 1/4 cup of lightly packed light brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce. Once you get all of those mixed up together, you can start putting them into your muffin tin. And I just happen to have these really cute, Valentine's-ish, cupcake holders. And so I will say that it probably wasn't my smartest idea to put the muffins in cupcake holders because they stuck really bad to the cupcake holders, but I thought it was adorable and cute. But you are going to throw those muffins into the oven at 355 degrees. And so they cook for about 25-ish minutes. But I always love to turn my stuff. It may just be me, but that's how I do it. So I usually put them in for half that time. So I think I put these in for 12 minutes. Then when that timer goes off, I'll flip it around. Next, we are on to the banh mi meatballs. And so I totally forgot to film me mixing these meatballs up. So we're going to do it this way. Your meatballs are 1 pound of ground turkey, 3 garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of minced fresh ginger. I didn't use fresh, I just used powder and it worked just fine. 2 tablespoons of reduced sodium soy sauce, 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, 1 large egg, and 3 scallions. I omitted the scallions. I didn't use it. Not a big deal. They go into the oven at 400 degrees and for about 15 to 18 minutes, just depending on your oven. Mine took about 15 and then they were fine. For your sauce, you're going to do 2.5 tablespoons of reduced sodium soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of seasoned rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce, 1/2 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, 1 teaspoon of minced fresh ginger, and 1 small garlic clove minced. You mix that up in the pot that I'm using here until it's all fragrant and blended together. And then you add those meatballs in and cook for about a minute just to let all the flavors combine. Next, you're going to put your rice of choice. As always, I use jasmine rice. I like jasmine rice. The way that I make it, I end up having leftovers that I know my kids will eat. So it just works out for us. And I did about 3/4 of a cup or 1/2 cup. I think 3/4 or 1/2 cup into each of the little dishes. And then you add in your 4 meatballs. And guys, this was really good. I will say though, that mine ended up being dry after microwaving. So I'm not for sure. Maybe I'm just not warming it up right. Or maybe there's a trick to it that maybe one of you guys could suggest. On how not for it to be so dried out. So honestly, it was fine. Mine was fine because I always hit mine with some sriracha or Thai chili sauce. But my husband, he doesn't do that sometimes. And so he did say it was a little dry. Fair warning. All right, now that our meatballs and rice are done, we are moving on to the food cart style chicken salad with white sauce. This is also super easy. You just do 1.5 pounds or about 4 large chicken breasts, and in like a container, I use one that I could shake. You do juice of half a lemon, 2 garlic cloves, 1 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, teaspoon of kosher salt, teaspoon of dried oregano, 3/4 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, and then of course olive oil for your pan. I just did it all in that glass container that you saw. I shook it up, and then it says to let it marinate for about 15 minutes. So I actually did the chicken before I did the oatmeal cups. That way, as I was doing the oatmeal cups, because they take the longest to bake, my chicken could be marinating. For this chicken, you also do a white sauce. And for that white sauce, you do 1 cup of whole milk yogurt. I use plain yogurt. It worked out great. 2 tablespoons of light mayonnaise, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of sugar, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground black pepper. You put this in a small bowl, you mix it all together, and then you also set that aside. When I cook my chicken, I usually do, just depending on the thickness, about 3 to 5 minutes. These, I had bigger chicken breasts, and so I cut mine in half so they would cook a little faster. All right, as we finish up cooking these chicken breasts, we will transfer them over to a cutting board, and then you cut them into strips. Once you get done cutting them into strips, it is time to start packing those containers after you pull out your oatmeal cups. And for the oatmeal cups, you put them, like once they come out of the oven, you leave them in their muffin tin for about 10 minutes. Once that 10 minutes is up, you transfer them to a wire rack to finish cooling. And guys, these things smell phenomenal. They smelled so good. Everybody at my house wanted one, even though they were for breakfast. So some were eaten the night before, but they were really good. I, for one, am not a fan of them just because of the texture, but everybody else loved them. All right, to finish off that food cart style chicken salad with white sauce, you are going to pack everything in separate containers, just so you don't wilt your salad. So you can make your own salad. You can do 6 cups of chopped iceberg or romaine lettuce, 2 medium tomatoes quartered, half a small red onion diced, and then your choice of salad dressing. I did a butter lettuce pre-mix from Walmart just to make my life a little easier. And then some balsamic vinaigrette. I just threw the balsamic vinaigrette in those little small containers, and then I'm gonna pack these other containers with salad. I don't know about you guys, but I actually really like salad. But I do feel like it takes a lot of salad to kind of fill you up. That may be a mind thing of mine, but I'm, like I said, packing these guys full of salad. And that's a good way to try to get in some of those greens. I will also say that I had a red onion that I was going to slice and put in here and totally forgot to add it, and was a little sad about it when I went to eat one of these the other day and there was no red onion in it, but it is what it is. Once you finish up packing those containers filled with your salad, you're going to start divvying out your chicken. And guys, there's no like specific measurements for this. I just try to do it as equal as possible throughout each container. And as you can tell, I color coordinated my containers. I had 2 blues and 2 pinks. The blues were supposed to be Chris's and the pinks were supposed to be mine. And we put them out in the fridge, and the very next day he took a pink one to work. So I have learned my lesson that it doesn't matter, even if it's color coordinated, that he's just going to pull whichever one is on top. Once all the chicken is put into the containers, you're going to grab that white sauce. I started out with a 1/4 cup measurement, but like after I went through all of it, I just ended up doing the same thing, just trying to evenly divide it between the 4. And I was a little nervous about this white sauce. I will say that I tend to be a little bit of a pickier person, and it was so good. So good. I think like I would even make it to like eat with chicken nuggets sometimes. You know, like when you're eating with kids and you're eating chicken nuggets, like this white sauce was really good and so easy and simple to make. All right, so this is just a little overview of everything that we made tonight. We did the banh mi turkey meatballs with rice, and they were really good. They were a little dry when you reheat them, so if you have a trick to that, you may remember that. Then we did the food court style chicken salad with white sauce. And again, put everything in its own container. That way you don't end up wilting your salad or anything like that. And then last but not least, we did the baked oatmeal cups. And guys, these smell delicious. The boys absolutely loved them. Emsley, she loved them. But for me, it was a texture thing. They smelled great and they tasted good, but the texture just threw me off. So that was a no for me. But everybody else loved them. And then anybody that wants to do dishes, hit me up. I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you have some more meal prep ideas. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button and to leave a comment. And I will see you guys next time.